Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:01. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host on this Wednesday, November 4th. I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
So, Pete, it is the morning after.
I made one prediction right.
And that was?
That we still have to wake up in the morning, take a shower, put on your clothes, and come to work.
There you go. And I made one prediction right, which is we're not going to know yet.
Yeah,
I
knew that there was going to be battleground states that were pretty close.
Correct. It's going to. But what we do know,
a few surprises.
Yeah. But what we do know before we get to the surprises is that we do in Westfield have a state senator and a state representative.
Yes, those. Yeah, well, Westfield is very, very efficient in counting their ballots.
They
very,
do
always have been.
Awesome
always will.
job. Kudos to Karen Fannion, the city clerk, Donna Roy, Marissa Colon. I mean, all of those folks. Yep, all those folks over in the clerk's office.
They've been working their butts off for weeks.
They absolutely have. And honestly, I wanted to send them a quick email last week just to say, listen, if there's anybody's job right now that I would want less. I mean, I keep through the pandemic, I keep saying I'm glad I don't have, Stefan Zaporowski's job, but certainly over the last month, I'm really glad I didn't have Karen Fannion's job either. So,
yeah, Caitlin posted a picture of the girls in the office, and they got so many compliments
good.
to the hardworking crew over there.
Yeah,
so
they just
well
did
deserved.
an amazing job. So congratulations to Senator Velas, and congratulations to State Representative Kelly Pease.
Yes.
So we have some folks, and I'm just glad that Westfield is represented. I mean,
right? Both seats are filled.
Yeah, both seats are filled. Exactly.
In a semi-permanent fashion.
Yes,
as much as 2 years can be semi-permanent.
Correct. But congratulations. And Matt Garlow, you sure did put up a fight there, my friend. It was a close race.
I make a suggestion that if Matt really wants to continue, he's young, so
yes.
Hey, look at city council next time around.
I hope that he does. That's a great place to get started and, kind of get your feet wet. So, I hope that he does. I think he's got a nice background in with some politics and legislation and good college background. So, yeah. And Ethan Flaherty, again, thank you. Thanks to everybody who ran. I mean, it is because when you run, you're putting yourself out there and certainly want to.
Ethan, finish your college and try again in a couple of years.
Exactly.
That poor kid was juggling. I talked to his dad.
Okay.
Because his dad was part of the debates, Taxpayer Association set up and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he's going to school full time. He's working a nearly full time job, and he was running for office.
Yeah, that's an awful lot there, my friend.
But he felt strongly about it, so I give him credit for that too.
Absolutely, but you know what? I agree with you, Pete. Ethan, finish school. Yep. And hang right in there with us, just come on back. And again, city council is a great place to start, or one of the committees, school committee or,
Run for student government.
Yeah, absolutely. All kinds. Yeah. Oh, hey,
That's student government.
all kinds of options out there. So, congratulations, folks. I feel like it's the day. I feel like it's the day after everybody looks like they've got a hangover. It's just that
That's what it is. Election hangover.
Yeah, everybody's just so exhausted.
Well, that and 2 double IPAs last night would cause my election hangover. Great Awakening came out with a beer called I Oated.
I-oated?
Yes, OATED oats.
Oh, okay. I-oated. Got
with
it.
a red, white, and blue label.
I was like, okay.
Red, white, and blue label, and I bought some yesterday, and I cracked one open when the polls closed.
Okay, there you go, Pete. And Pete, what did you have last night? You had a meeting that you were.
Water Commission. It was only about an
Water
hour. It started early, which was nice for me. I was done by about 6. But that's the thing. It's like every night this week, I think I have flood control special meeting
Things
tonight and
going
something
on.
else.
Yeah.
Every night this week is booked. It doesn't make it. Veterans Day, I have a meeting on Veterans Day.
Yeah,
Because the health department, that's their normal meeting night, and they cannot go a month without a meeting, really, at this point.
Yes, exactly.
So Joe Rouse was like, hey, I know it's on a Veterans Day, and we're normally not meeting. I'm like, don't worry about it.
I know. Well, when we were at that meeting at the conference call meeting or the Zoom meeting with all the department heads, Pete, and it was kind of like, I think the tech was going to shut something down because, well, it's we'll do it on Veterans Day. Nobody's working. And of course, Julie Barnes was like, I'm working. And I'm like, I'm working. Pete, you're working. It's like, no, we do have people working on Veterans Day. But
right. But I talked to the tech department, tech center, and I worked that out with them.
Good.
And they're like, I'd rather get it to Channel 15 because most veterans are
yes,
of the age where they'd rather watch on Channel 15 than streaming.
that's correct. Yeah.
And I could post it on YouTube later on for everybody else. So.
Yeah, exactly, Pete. So thank you on behalf of my seniors who do not, have computers or can't stream or whatever. Yeah, they really rely on Channel 15.
Right. So the veteran ceremony, we're going to get that set up. We're going to shoot over to the middle school and broadcast it that way. So.
Good. Excellent. So that will be on Veterans Day. And speaking of Veterans Day, just as a reminder to my folks, it is the second Wednesday of the month, and that is Brown Bag Day. And my staff made the decision that we were going to hold Brown Bag Day on Veterans Day because we just thought it would be too confusing to make a change and try to throw out the schedule. However, because it is technically a holiday and the city offices are closed, we are not doing anything else. So we're not answering the phone.
Yeah, no lunch.
Yeah, we're not doing lunch. We're not doing anything. So I have a skeleton staff that's going to be coming in, working brown bag from 9 to 10 a.m. That's your window, folks. You show up at noon to get your brown bag. Nobody's going to be there except for me, buried in my office in the back somewhere doing something.
I'll make sure I kick you out.
But no.
I'll drive by at 10 o'clock and throw you out.
We will not be open to the public. Well, I've been working on, this is how I've spent like the last 2 weeks of my life, Pete. I'm working on my annual report for the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, which usually we do it over the summer. It's the end of the fiscal year, so it's the report from from July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. But this year, because of the pandemic, the Executive Office of Elder Affairs couldn't even give us the guidelines of what they wanted until, like late September, because everybody's you've got all these senior centers that are closed to the public. So what we're doing is so different than the normal format of, counting how many bodies come in and have lunch every day or, do fitness classes. It's really hard. Like with fitness classes, they're on Channel 15. So I don't have any way of knowing other than Aunt Jane's stories, people coming through my line saying,
or maybe YouTube counts or something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, it was much more challenging for all of us. So I've been working on that, and I'm now in the final stage. I'm just doing the cover letter to go with it. And so I have a table that we moved outside, a big 5-foot table outside of my office so I could spread out all the pages. So it's so funny,
I was like,
too.
can't you work from home? And then I was like, no, I don't think she can.
No, I can't. Well, it's so funny, too, because, a lot of this is gathering statistics from my staff. So my poor staff, I would say, okay, I need this. And then they would think, okay, I'm done. And then I'd come back, the next day and say, okay, now that I'm farther into the report, I also need this, and this from you. Okay. So Gary came in yesterday to volunteer at lunch, and so I said, I just want you to see what I've been working on because everything was all spread out all over the table with all my piles of the final pages of the report. And I said, lest you think I'm making this up. And he goes, no. And then Gary said to me, Tina, would you like me to go through and proofread that report? And I said, absolutely not. There's not one mistake in it. I've proofed it about 500 times. So he was busting me. But anyway, so that was that. Yeah, that was that. Let's do a famous birthday because we have a really great famous birthday that I want to kick off today. And it's so appropriate for this time of the year with elections and everything going on politically. Today is the birthday, November 4th, of the late Walter Cronkite. And, broadcast journalist, news
The way
anchor.
it was.
I know. Walter Cronkite was born November 4th, 1916 in St. Joseph, Missouri. He died July 17th, 2009 at the age of 92. I didn't realize that he had lived to the ripe old age of 92. I really didn't know that. During World War II, Walter Cronkite covered the European front for United Press and served as chief United Press correspondent at the Nuremberg trials. Joining CBS News in 1950, Cronkite worked on a variety of programs and covered national political conventions and elections. Walter Cronkite helped launch the CBS Evening News in 1962 and served as its news anchor until his retirement in 1981. The hallmarks of his style were honesty, impartiality, and level-headedness. His jaunty nightly sign-off was, "And that's the way it is." Identified in public opinion polls as the man Americans most trusted, he provided a voice of reason during the Vietnam and Watergate eras. So happy birthday to the late Walter Cronkite.
Wish it were still like that.
You know what,
But
Pete?
unfortunately, it's not.
You know what? I was just thinking the same thing. Boy, would I love to get back to, him and Dan Rather and Tom Brokaw. They were a class act.
Yep. It all changed in the mid '80s, late '80s.
What did change it?
The news divisions went under the entertainment divisions in the hierarchy. They weren't equal to. They weren't their own division anymore.
Yeah.
So once you go into the entertainment division, you're more beholden to the advertisers.
Right.
And
then,
that's when they just decline because
Yeah.
you have to drive eyeballs instead of actually reporting the news and being
news,
impartial.
right.
You have to drive eyeballs. So therefore, just by doing that, you have a bit of a slant.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
you're
if it's
absolutely
political
right.
slant. It's just
It's just
you're driving
different.
eyeballs. So you have to be a different type of journalism.
Yeah. Well,
That's when it all started. And then the rise of cable degraded that even more because people couldn't differentiate between news and opinion. And it just got worse and worse and
And then
worse.
I think the other thing, my personal take too is that I think that when you have these 24-hour news, channels, I mean, they have to fill the airtime with something. So
Well, most
there's
of it's
just this-
opinion.
It is. It's a lot of opinion. It's a lot of drivel. It's a lot of who cares? Just give me the news. And the problem is they're just filling time, and the actual news wouldn't take 24 hours. 7
Even
days a
headline
week.
news isn't news. It hasn't been for decades.
Nah, it's not. And but
It's
you
all
know
like
what?
crime drama shows.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's
Remember when music television actually meant music television? And headline
Yes.
news actually meant headline
Headline
news?
news, right? Exactly.
Yeah, they don't. It costs too much money for one thing to have a 24-hour news operation. But
Well, and I think you said it all, Pete, when you said it. The news went under entertainment because I think that's what they're trying
yeah.
to do. Who can be more outrageous or who can
Well, no,
say things
it's
that
about
are going to
it's getting advertisers.
Yeah.
That's what it.
Yeah.
I had a college professor when I went to Stick. Said the reason that television was invented is to deliver advertisements to the viewers, not programming, advertisements. Same thing
Well,
with radio.
Yeah. I mean,
That's its primary mission is to deliver advertising.
right. That's what
'Cause
pays.
without that,
that's
the
what
lights-
pays the bills.
Right, without the lights go off.
Yep. Exactly. Well, happy birthday, Walter Cronkite.
Yep.
We also have some musicians who have birthdays today. It is the birthday of singer-songwriter Harry Elston. He's an interesting guy. I didn't really know much about him. He was born November 4th, 1938 in Dallas, Texas. He's 82 years old today. And Harry Elston was a founding member of the group The Friends of Distinction, one of the most likable and vocally cohesive singing groups of the late 1960s and early 1970s. The Friends of Distinction are too often forgotten in retrospectives of the era. Formed by Harry Elston, Floyd Butler, Jessica Cleaves, and Barbara Love in 1968, the group had a relatively short life in its original incarnation, but made some of the most memorable pop soul music of all time. Harry Elston had been singing with a group called the Hi-Fis in the mid-1960s, and they warmed up for Ray Charles doing his tours across the country. When that group split in 1966, members Marilyn McCoo and Lamont McLemore went on to co-found the enormously successful Fifth Dimension, and Elston split off and started the Friends of Distinction group. The newly formed Friends of Distinction was managed by football great Jim Brown and signed with RCA Records. Hitting the popular music scene when Motown and Stax were dominating, the Friends of Distinction arrived with a breezy California pop soul sound. Like the Fifth Dimension, the Friends of Distinction sounded like a breath of fresh air on pop radio in 1969. So happy 82nd birthday to Harry Elston, singer-songwriter and co-founder of the Friends of Distinction. It is 6:15. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to start with a song in honor of the birthday of news anchor Walter Cronkite, and this is called Good News by Chris Rea.
Watching the girls on the dance floor. Yeah, he's watching the light in her head. He's praying that love's gonna come soon. There's a sweet smell of hope in the air. Just another boy from a steel town with a flash of the mill in his eye. He don't go for hip, cool old fashion, but he knows where the deepest one lies. And he'd love to be warm, he'd love to love you. Love to love you. So give him some good news. Give him some good news. Give him some good news. Yeah. All the cards on the table, but don't look that man in the eye. Say a prayer for the dealer and kiss your life goodbye. Go to church, light a candle, but don't lose your head for God's sake. Why is my heart beating faster? Oh, why do my hands start to shake? 'Cause you love to be warm, you love to love you. So give him some good news. Give him some good news. Give him some good news. Yeah.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at betsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You're listening to WSKB 89.5. Just I had to think
That
about
kind
that
of a
for
morning,
second.
yeah.
It is that kind of a morning. WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses, and WCPC cable channel 15. I think in my head I was reversing them, and I couldn't figure out which one to say first. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and the voice you hear in the background is Pete Coles in his secluded glassed-in booth behind the boards. Good morning again, Pete.
Morning.
So, we were talking about Senator Vilas getting reelected before, and I just wanted to thank everyone who came out last Thursday. We did our American flag retirement event at the Senior Center between 11 and 1. So we collected damaged flags, American flags that were faded. I'll tell you what, some of them had been outside a long time. They were so faded, you could, the red was really pink.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There were some pretty damp. But, did your heart good, because obviously people were flying them, and that's why they were that faded. They'd been out for so long. But anyway, it was the most miserable day, Pete. It was pouring rain. It was freezing. It was awful. We had Senator Vilas and Caitlin Letourneau, his legislative aide, and oh my God, God bless Caitlin. She was a trooper. We had a tent set up for them on the far side of the parking lot to collect the flags, and we had everything under cover, and lots of containers with lids and covers and so forth. It was just nasty, but you know what? People came through. They came through the lunch line. They brought their flags. And after lunch, people just drove through and dropped their flags off. We had people that had collected flags from their friends and neighbors and brought them. So
that's great.
Hugely successful event. Thanks to Julie Barnes and James Jordan. They were out there helping. And Julie is our Director of Veteran Services. And James, of course, also works in the Veteran Services office. They work together. And so they will be taking them for a respectful ceremony. And Julie said she has never witnessed the flag ceremony where they actually burn the flags, but there's a
proper
ceremony,
way to do it,
the proper way. There's a ceremony that goes with it, and so she is very anxious. She said she wants to actually observe that, because she said, I've never observed it before. I know what the ceremony is. I've heard about it, have read about it and so forth, but she said she actually wants to participate. So when she takes this group of, we have my Alex Hibbert, my building maintenance craftsman, very carefully and respectfully folded all the flags that we gathered, boxed them all up, and Julie and James will be taking them for the ceremony. So thanks for everybody for participating, and for Senator Vilas, who he came down he was in the middle of the Soldiers Home testimony, so he was not able to be at the event for very long, but they took a little bit of a lunch break, and he came running down for about 15 minutes. So thanks to everybody who participated in that. So, Pete, I got to tell you, October was exhausting at the Senior Center. It was absolutely, in retrospect, we were so busy trying to jam in as much as we could outside before the weather turned. And we actually unfortunately, we had something planned for Halloween. We had something planned for Friday. I'm not going to spill the beans and say what it was, because we're thinking that we'll either it was just, with the snow coming in and just the cold weather, we decided that wouldn't be the best idea.
Right.
So we'll either postpone it for a year to next Halloween, or if we're still doing curbside lunches in the spring, then we may do Halloween in March or April. We'll see how that goes. I was taking a cue from the Hamden Senior Center, and they did Christmas in July. So I thought, well, we can always just
Wendy didn't
mix
tell me
up the
about that.
holidays. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
I have an in over there.
Do ya? Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy Coles, my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay.
She does the outreach.
Well, just let her know. Well, you know what happened was the director, Becky Moriarty in Hamden, is also on staff at the Mass Association of Councils on Aging. And Becky put together, this was so cool, the Councils on Aging, the MCOA had their annual conference virtually 2 weeks ago. And so Becky had asked all of the directors across the state for about 6 weeks to send her any photos that we had taken during the pandemic. So any events that we were doing or curbside, whatever. So, of course, we had lots. I sent in all kinds of stuff that we've been doing over the last several months, from Mother's Day and the volunteer recognition curbside luncheon and Father's Day and all kinds of Cops for a Cause. We sent them all in. And all of the COAs did that. The senior centers did that. And for the annual conference, one of the normally MCOA chooses annually a director of the year. So all directors aspire at some point to be the director of the year. There are 325 senior centers across the state. So there's a lot of competition out there. And this year, MCOA decided that they were going to name all of the directors because of all of the work that we've done, all of us, during the pandemic. There was no way to single one out. And so what Becky did was she put together this slideshow with a lot of the shots and the photos that we had all sent in. It's about a 20-minute slideshow. It is absolutely amazing because it's just all these pictures. And she has listed where the COA is, where the Council on Aging is, and then, what they had done. And so that's how I knew. I've watched it several times, but the first time it was just kind of to watch it and see, whatever. But the second time I was taking notes. It's like, oh, look what they did. That's a great idea. Maybe we could try that. So, and I think everybody was doing that. But yeah, so that's how I knew. Hamden did. So they had a big sign, Christmas in July, and they had cars dressed up with reindeer antlers and everything. It was really cool. And I thought, that's a great idea of taking a winter program that, we're not going to be out there in December trying to do all these special programs because I got to tell you, it's getting cold out there. So
I'll talk to Wendy about that at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So ask her about it. It looked like it was a huge success. So anyway, kudos to all those directors.
She's been pulling what you do with Gary.
Yeah.
My brother's been helping over there a bit.
You know what? Family is a wonderful thing. It really is. Yeah. But I look back on what we did in October. So we started with the 2-day flu clinic. That was at the beginning of the month. We did oh my God, I'm drawing a complete blank. We had Think Pink Day. Yep. We had the Flag Day.
I think I had 5 senior center tapings this month.
Yes, and we did the Serving Up Senior Safety, which was a Saturday event. And the following Saturday, we did the Prescription Drug Take-Back event. And we were just, again, all of those curbside things because it required staff and volunteers. And, we were just trying to sneak it in before it got really cold and windy and wet and snowy and rainy and all that stuff.
We're going to have a good stretch of weather this week.
Well, I know it's going to be. It's really good. Even today, it's going to be in the mid-50s.
Yeah, but 60s, maybe 70s.
60s up to 70 over the weekend. We'll take it. We'll absolutely.
I'll be working in Mount Holyoke, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. Well, I'm wrapping up this annual report because that's it. This is it. I told the staff. I said I gotta get this done.
I told the mayor I'm trying to find time to take off. Every time I try to take a day off, it's like, oh, Mark Auerbach has a taping, or we need to squeeze in a taping for the senior center, or we need to squeeze in this one, or we need to squeeze in. I'm like,
it's really interesting, Pete. Your ears must have been burning last night because I was on the phone with Patrick Barry. We're trying to plan a little something with the area directors and Mass Appeal, and I'm not to be disclosed at this point. But anyway,
yeah, you're cooking up something,
right? We're cooking up something. So Patrick had asked me I was telling him about this slideshow, and I forwarded that to him so he could look through it. But he was asking me, he said, Tina, are the other senior centers using local cable? What are they doing? And I said, well, Pete, I kept calling him Pete for one thing. I said, well, Patrick, I said, see, here's the thing. I said, not every city and town has a Pete Coles. In fact, most of them do not have a Pete Coles. So I said, like Pete, I can't tell you. I count my lucky stars every day. Thank you for what you have done for us because you've just added. And I told Patrick, I said, Pete has also worked with whoever's doing local cable in in
Southwick and Agawam. Yeah, I'm working with Les over in
Yes.
Southwick and Dennis. And
Yes, I said I know that he has worked with
Dennis in
others.
Southwick and Les in Agawam. We've been trading stuff like Les did a boys soccer game at Agawam, and he's like, "Hey Pete, let's figure out how to get it so you can simulcast it in Westfield." You know, we've been working very, very well together.
Yeah. So and that's been great. But I got to tell you, some of these other directors are like, oh man, you know, they would kill. But Pete it's been awesome, and so we're in
It's
November.
tough because a lot of these towns don't have the money to fund a full time. Like, you know, Long Meadow's full time. East Long Meadow, I think, is full time.
Yeah.
But not everybody has a full time guy.
Right. Exactly.
Or they're utilizing them there properly.
Right. And I have to tell you too, you know, having the studio here. Again, thank my lucky stars that it's here at Westfield Technical Academy, which honestly is more convenient than it was when it was up at the college. You know, just because of parking and everything up there. You know, you're dealing with all that other stuff, and here it's just a great location. You know, for me, it's like 4 minutes from the senior center.
It's centrally located in the city.
It's really, really nicely located. So a million thanks again. I can't say that enough times, so I'm just going to keep saying it. But thank you.
Okay.
And now that we're in November, we should mention, Pete, on cable channel 15, we now have fitness programming 7 days a week. Because we've added the
I think we need to get Mel
dance.
Call and Zumba back in here. We need to refresh those shows.
Okay, we can do that.
It's been a while.
Yep, exactly. And Mary Lou and I were talking about that. We think December we're going to keep everything the same because
that's pretty much how I had it scheduled.
But yeah, but then I think in January we're going to try to update a few of the ones that have been on for a while, so we can get Becca in here. I already talked to Gary. I said, okay, think about it, you know, because yours is, you know, I know you did 3, but I said think about number 4.
I'm running 2 again.
Changes. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's fine.
This month and next month I'm going to run 2 because 3 has been running for like 2 months.
Yeah. Okay.
So
sounds good.
I when I have options, I kind of I switch it up a little bit.
That's absolutely fine, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay. It is 6:31. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to listen to Grazing in the Grass for our break. It is by the Friends of Distinction, and this is in honor of the birthday of Harry Elston. We'll be back.
Watching as the world goes past. There are so many great things to see while grazing in the grass. Grazing in the grass is a gas, baby, can you dig it? Flowers with colors bright, making everything out of sight in the grass. Grazing in the grass is a gas, baby, can you dig it? The sun beaming down between the leaves. Grazing in the grass is a gas, baby, can you dig it? And the everything here is so clear.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardy siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is Wednesday, November 4th. It is 6:35 a.m. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
Later on in the second hour, we have our resident WSKB, WCPC chiropractor, Dr. Gary Gorman, joining us. He'll be talking about his second topic in his list of 7 tips for balanced health. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Right now, we just heard from Harry Rock. So I do want to thank Harry, who is hosting our Council on Aging Presents series. It's a monthly discussion that we do on some educational topic. And this month, because we're celebrating Veterans Day next week. And so the person that Harry interviewed was Julie Barnes, our Director of Veterans Services for the City of Westfield. So tune in on Tuesday afternoons at 2:45 every Tuesday of the month of November for Julie Barnes. I got to figure out what I'm doing in December. I just realized that, Pete. It's like, I have ideas. Okay. Today is National Stress Awareness Day. So National Stress Awareness Day happens on the first Wednesday in November, and it aims to identify and reduce the stress factors in your life. Oh, nobody's stressed out right now. What do you think? Everyone has stress. Some stress is good for us. It helps us to respond to changes in life. Stress is our body's way of protecting itself from harm. However, too much stress causes harm to our health as well as our relationships. Identifying the stressors impacting our physical and mental health is important. Sometimes health problems are the cause, but our health can also be affected by external stressors, such as physical abuse, stressful work environments, financial stress, or other family health issues. Once we identify the causes of stress in our lives, we can begin to eliminate or reduce stress. Some tools that help with stress to reduce stress include developing coping skills for anxiety, identifying and letting go of the things that you cannot change. Exercise helps us to let go of built-up anxiety, and eating a balanced diet fuels our bodies so we're better able to cope with the stress. How to observe today as a Stress Awareness Day: develop a routine to help you lessen your tension. Go for a walk. It's going to be a nice day, so it's a great day to go for a walk. Do some deep breathing, get some exercise or a massage, take a long, relaxing bath. If you're struggling with the amount of stress in your life, seek help. You can speak to your doctor or check with your employer for an assistance program designed to help employees balance their life. And I heard that the EAPs, which are the employee assistance programs, have been really doing a wonderful job during the pandemic, and a lot of people are taking advantage of those. I think, there's less stigma around seeking help when you're just under a lot of stress, because we've got a lot of people that are dealing with health issues, family issues, homeschooling your kids, job furloughs, businesses that are closing. I mean, this is a really difficult time, and it's okay to say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, I need help. So it's okay to do that. And I know Dr. Gorman is going to talk a little bit today when he gets into healthy eating and healthy hydration and how that kind of factors in with stress reduction as well. So we'll cover that a little bit later, in the second hour. Today is the birthday of singer Sherry Payne. She is 76 years old today. She was born November 4th, 1944 in Detroit, Michigan. Payne is best known as the lead singer of The Supremes after Diana Ross left. So Sherry Payne took her place from 1973 to 1977. She came on as the new Supreme after Diana Ross left to launch a solo career. When Payne arrived, the other two members of the group were Mary Wilson, who was one of the original Supremes, and Cindy Birdsong. Payne contributed powerful vocals and attitude to the group. However, she began to realize that Motown did not really care as much about the Supremes as they had in the past because of changing musical tastes. In addition, Motown was more invested in Diana Ross than the Supremes group after she departed. However, Sherry Payne's contributions did enable the Supremes to enter the disco era with a number of dance hits. And then it was shortly after that that they kind of rode off into the singer sunset, you know. So happy birthday to Sherry Payne. It is also the birthday of the actor, the late actor, Art Carney. Art Carney was born November 4th, 1918 in Mount Vernon, New York. He died in 2003 at the age of 85. Actor and comedian Art Carney is most remembered for the simple-minded, effusive, and charismatic character of Ed Norton, who played a foil to Jackie Gleason's Ralph Cramden on the situation comedy The Honeymooners. Never formally trained, Art Carney was a genius of comic timing, earning a great deal of respect and admiration from his contemporaries, including Jackie Gleason and comedian Sid Caesar. Norton appeared on The Honeymooners from 1951 to 1957. During that time, he was awarded 3 Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor. His role of Ed Norton, the kooky sewer worker, captured so much attention that sewer worker associations across the country offered him honorary memberships. You gotta love it. So happy birthday to the late comedian Art Carney. That was classic. And speaking of people who had comedy roles, it is also the birthday of the late Doris Roberts, actress born November 4th, 1925 in St. Louis, Missouri.
She loved Raymond.
She did love Raymond, and she lived to be 90 years old. She died in 2016 at the age of 90. So I was trying to figure out how old she was when she played Raymond's mother. Well, she played it from 1996 to 2005. Doris Roberts was an actress, author, and philanthropist whose career spanned 6 decades of television and film. She received 5 Emmy Awards and a Screen Actors Guild Award during her acting career, which began in 1951. She had several prominent roles in movies during the 1970s and 80s. She achieved continuing success in television, becoming known for her role as Mildred Krebs in Remington Steele, from 1983 to 1987. You know what? I have to go back. I used to watch that show, but I have no vision or recollection as to what the show was about, nor do I remember.
Remington Steele was a detective show.
It was, but I just can't, like, I don't have the characters in my head, like what they look like.
You remember the theme?
It was... No, well, do you have it?
All right, keep talking.
All right, okay, you'll pull that up. So anyway, and I don't remember Doris Roberts in that at all, but she was for 4 years. And then she achieved much of her fame for her role as Marie Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond from 1996 to 2005. Okay, this is the theme from Remington Steele. It was a male-female, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. It's coming back to me, Pete.
That's not actually the best version of it, but there's a
good.
better version of that. That's okay. That's not the way it was.
Listen to this. I thought this was really interesting. So Doris Roberts played Marie Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond. She was reportedly one of 100 actresses considered for the role. That's a whole lot of actresses to beat out. For her work on the series, she was nominated for 7 Emmy Awards. She won them 4 times for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. She appeared as a guest on many talk and variety shows, as well as a panelist on several game shows. And I saw or I was reading a quote from Raymond of Everybody Loves Raymond, and he was saying that although her character was, she was intrusive and she was nosy and a busybody and everything else on the show, when they surveyed people, she was the most liked character on the show Everybody Loves Raymond. So happy birthday!
This is a better version of it.
Yeah, that is a better version. Yeah.
But it was, I think wasn't it Pierce Brosnan was in that?
Yes, I think so. I think that he was. Yeah, I think so. But I can't remember who the female was. And I can
picture her face, but I can't remember.
Dark
her
hair,
name.
right?
Yes.
Long dark hair, yeah.
Yep.
It's all coming back to me now. All right, let's move to a different television show, Pete. It is also the birthday today of Loretta Swit. Actress born.
That's a different TV show.
It is a completely different show. Actress born November 4th, 1937. I never knew this. She was born in Passaic, New Jersey. Now, I have a brother who lives in Passaic, New Jersey, because he bought my grandparents' house because my grandparents lived in Passaic, New Jersey. I was born in Passaic, New Jersey. I was born at St. Mary's Hospital because that's where my parents grew up. And I never knew Loretta Swit was from Passaic.
The female was Stephanie Zimbalist.
Yes. Now it's all coming back. All right, Pete and I can't. It's hard to be distracted. We're on this Remington Steel thing. All right, Pete, switch. We're on a different show.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you the
Got it.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Got it. Okay. Loretta Swit is 83 years old today. When she arrived in Hollywood, beginning in 1969, she performed guest roles in various television series, including Hawaii Five-0, that was her first TV credit, Gunsmoke, Mission Impossible, and Mannix. Beginning in 1972, Loretta Swit played the lusty, extremely capable head nurse, Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, in the television series MASH, a comedy set in an American mobile army hospital during the Korean War. Swit inherited the star-making role from actress Sally Kellerman, who portrayed Houlihan in the feature film. In the first few seasons, her character was single and blindly patriotic, and she had no friends among the camp surgeons and nurses, with the notable exception of her married lover, Major Frank Burns, portrayed by Larry Linville. Over time, her character was considerably softened. She married a lieutenant colonel, but divorced soon after. She became good friends with her fellow officers, and her attitude towards the Koreans in and around the camp became more enlightened. The change reflected that of the series in general, from absurdist dark humor to mature comedy drama. Loretta Swit was one of only 4 cast members to stay for all 11 seasons of the show from 1972 to 1983. So, Pete, here's your trivia question, because Pete is like Mr. Trivia. Can you figure out the other 3 characters that were on the show from the pilot to the season finale of MASH?
I think Alan Alda.
Yep, who played Hawkeye.
And Klinger.
Yes, Jamie Farr.
Jamie
who
Farr.
played Klinger.
And who else?
And one more. Bless you if you can get this right, Pete.
I have no idea.
There's your hint.
Oh, Father Mulcahy.
Yes, Father Mulcahy, William Christopher. So those were and Loretta Swit. So that's really pretty amazing. That
they kept the cast that long, yeah.
Yeah, that 4 of them from 72 to 83. So long time. Happy 83rd birthday, Loretta Swit. That's pretty awesome. All right, it is 6:48. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to listen to Billy Joel singing "Pressure" for this National Stress Awareness Day.
You have to learn to pace yourself. cosmic rationale. But here you are in the night, 2 men out and 3 men on nowhere to look, but inside where we all respond to pressure. All your life is Time magazine. I read it too. What does it mean? Pressure! I'm sure you have some cosmic rationale. But here you are with your faith and your Peter Pan advice. You have no scars on your face and you cannot handle pressure.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England. Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:54. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again,
Good
Pete.
morning. Have you seen Mark's new show, On the Mark?
I have not seen it. When is that broadcast? by
That's
the
on
way?
Wednesdays, usually after you,
Okay.
so you can listen to it in the car. Today he has on views from college students, so Matt Jones, Jason Martins, and Marielle Picnelli.
Oh, very good.
And that's not her stage name, but she's got over
Ah.
1 million followers on Instagram.
Really?
And she's a singer, Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
And she's already recorded some stuff.
Wow.
And she's balancing now college and a career as a social media influencer full time.
Wow. Is she is she local or
Yeah.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, Pecnelli is the
local.
yeah.
I didn't know if it was just coincidental.
No.
Okay,
She's
so
from that family. Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for her.
But she's done stuff with Radio Disney already. She's done, a top like a countdown show on the internet and stuff
Very
like
cool.
that. So yeah.
Good. Well, good for her. And she's going to be on Mark's show this morning?
Yes, she's a Western New
Nice.
England college student.
Oh, very good. I was going to ask where she was going to school, but I didn't know if she was. Very good.
So you catch up with all those, and Mark's kind of doing themes. We taped one for about airports and flying.
Okay.
We've taped one about medical stuff. Different genres in each show.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mark Auerbach's a really talented guy. So
Yes.
Good.
You want to do
Great.
something different than just the arts.
Yes. Good. Perfect. Well, good for him. Go,
Yep.
Mark. All right. So that's after this show. I wanted to remind folks that I always get this wrong. There it is. Voice of Experience newsletter.
I'll pop myself
Thank
out.
you. There it is. I'm trying to get it straight. The Voice of Experience newsletter came out, hit the streets on Saturday. This is the November issue for those of you who are 60 years of age and older and you want to know what's happening in the city for you. Here it is. You can also access it online if you go into the city website and under departments, click on Council on Aging and just follow along and you'll find it in there. As I mentioned, Pete and I were talking before about so many things that we were trying to squeeze in outdoors in October before the weather got cold. But we still have a lot of stuff going on in November. We're very excited. We have Sarah the Fiddler is going to be performing on Channel 15, and Pete has worked really hard to make that happen for us. And that concert, the dates and times are located, the schedule is in the newsletter right on the front page. But we've got it on Wednesday, starting today. So today's the first one, 2:40 today, after the Dr. Gorman and Grace Movin' and Groovin' video. So Sarah the Fiddler will be performing today, every Wednesday at 2:40, except Veterans Day. She's going to be doing it twice. We'll air that one at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Thanksgiving Day, which is November 26th, 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Saturdays at 6 p.m. So all the Saturdays.
Look on your screen.
There it is. Thank you, Pete.
Click right.
That's exactly how you do it. You just go into the Council on Aging department, and then if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the Voice of Experience newsletter. When you click here, it just pops open the newsletter, and there it is. Now you're seeing what I'm seeing right in front of me on hard copy.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down to page two has. Look at the bottom. Look at that schedule. Pete Coles, look at that COA Cable Channel 15 TV
I'm
guide.
tired just thinking about it.
That schedule, if we go back to, like April and May, that there was half that number in there. It was half that. I mean, I remember Jim Corwin had the font really big because we had all this space. And now I just keep giving him more and more stuff. Oh, we're going to air this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, so that's page 3, everything that's going on. Page 4 and 5, we've been putting photos in there, of our special events. So that was our Cops for a Cause. And then page 6, we have the staff listed. So if you have to get a hold of us, all of our thank yous for donations and such. And then page 7, I usually keep for Karen Noblet. So that's generally Medicare information. You can see there's a whole thing on Medicare, which while Pete is up on that page, I want to offer this warning to people. And every October, November, December, we put a little article about Medicare scams because it is open enrollment season. And this is a time when, those who want to take advantage of others are going to call you and they're going to tell you they're calling from Medicare and they need your Medicare number and they have a deal for you and they're going to sign you up for this great program. Hang up, because I will tell you right now, Medicare does not call individuals. So take that right off the table. We had one person who called, one of the seniors got called, and the person said, "I'm calling from Medicare. Please don't hang up. This is not a scam." And so she, of course, immediately hung up because it was a scam, But we know that Westfield is being targeted, folks. We have gotten numerous reports from our seniors, most of them, thankfully, savvy enough to know to just hang up. Let us know. Let Mark Carbino, our senior safety officer, know. We let the police know. But your best defense: do not answer the door. If somebody knocks on the door and says, "I'm here about your health insurance plan," they don't go door to door knocking, about your health insurance plans. So please, please, please be careful about that. And Pete, thanks for showing folks what it looks like online. So it really is, it's exactly the paper that you see in print. That's what's available online for those of you that are tech savvy. So just a few highlights. I'll do one, and then we're going to take our top of the hour break, and then I'll do some more before Dr. Gorman comes on. But the most important one is with the curbside meals, we have shortened the time of pickup by 15 minutes. So if you sign up for lunches Monday through Friday, you need to pick them up between 11 and 11:45. We did that, folks, just because it is getting colder out there. And it's chilly, it's windy. I mean, we had some unbelievable wind the other day. So I'm happy to report that we are 2 days into our new lunch schedule from 11 to 11:45. And our lunch participants have been fabulous. So we have a lot more of them coming closer to like 11 to 11:15. And so it's really helped us out a lot. Thank you. We appreciate that. It is 7:01. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We'll take our top of the hour break and we'll be back.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. Saturdays were made for polka. Tune in to the Polka Jammer Network starting at 6 a.m. and Polka Hall of Famer Billy Bellina, Breakfast at BB at 8:30.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:04. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is in the studio with me. Dr. Gary Gorman will be joining us after the next break. A couple of things we were talking just before the break. Pete was showing you the Channel 15 scheduling that's in the newsletter, the Voice of Experience newsletter on page 2. We have two new fitness programs this month. One is yoga dance, and that is taught by Renee Ricks. Renee used to do the yoga dance program at the Senior Center pre-COVID in the fitness room. And so we are really happy and excited to offer that. That will be offered on Saturdays, November 7, 14, 21, and 28 at noon. But the great thing about this is, even though it's called yoga dance, you don't have to have any yoga experience and you don't have to have any dance experience, and all bodies are able to participate. So even if you've been kind of a bit of a couch potato, you can still do this. And I asked Renee, because she has done it at the Senior Center, both in the chair and not in a chair.
She was talking about that.
Yes, and the way she's teaching it, she said if you need to sit for all or part of it, you can. If you don't, but so have a chair handy if you think you might want to use the chair. So it really is for all bodies. And Renee's she's just a fabulous person. So try it out. Saturdays at noon, something different. And then Terry Summers has updated her chair yoga program. So this is the third one. I'm calling this her wintertime chair yoga program. And Terry's chair yoga classes are on Channel 15 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock, so throughout the month. So happy for both of those. And again, a million thanks to Pete Coles, who makes all of that stuff happen for us. The other thing that I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about is a fundraiser that the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center group is doing. And I'm really asking for people to support this, because the typical fundraisers that the Friends group usually would be at the senior center with lots of people involved. And obviously we can't do that right now in the midst of the pandemic. So we're trying to, they're trying to raise some money as they can. And just so you know, during the pandemic, it's the Friends group that has really stepped up to the plate. They've been paying the fitness instructors. A lot of people have asked me, well, how are the fitness instructors that are, that are doing the programming, which they would normally get paid by the seniors at the senior center, it's the Friends group that's been paying for them to come in and do their taping with Pete. Other than, of course, Dr. Gary and Grace, who didn't have a choice, but they did it, no charge.
Pro bono.
Right, exactly. Otherwise, they'd be sleeping on the front lawn someplace. But no, the Friends group has done a great job with that. And also, as the building has been empty, other than staff members, we have taken the opportunity to do some cleaning and sorting and reorganizing and updating. So we have purchased some furniture that we thought would, be helpful for staff as we're kind of, outgrowing some of our offices, and we're learning that we need more file cabinets, actually, things like that. So Friends Group is taking care of that. All those little ancillary things, they have really come through for us in a big way. So here's their fundraiser. They're going to be holding a special drawing with the winner receiving a Christmas box filled with holiday giving as well as receiving in mind. So this is a decorative Christmas box that will have things like gift bags and tags and scotch tape and tissue paper and boxed Christmas cards. So that's the giving part. That's for the winner will be able to use that as their gift giving. However, there will also be $100 worth of lottery tickets in the box. That's the receiving part for the winner. The cost for the raffle it's $5 for a sheet of 25 tickets. And the tickets can be purchased every day, daily, during our curbside lunch, starting on Monday. So I had two people already come through. I've got my $5. I want tickets. Starting Monday, okay? And it will go through the 25th, which is the day before Thanksgiving. There will be a few of us working on Thanksgiving Day, so we will pull the winner on Thanksgiving Day and notify them on the Monday after Thanksgiving. Please, if you do want to participate in this, have your money ready, and please have exact change. So $5 you get a sheet of 25 tickets. Well, you won't get the sheet of tickets. We'll hold the sheet of tickets because we got to choose the winner. So we'll be taking down your names. And if you just want to get tickets, but you're not getting a lunch, just come through the lunch line between like 11:30 and 11:45, because you really should be able to pretty much drive right through. You might have one or two cars in front of you, so there won't be a long wait or anything. So feel free to do that, and we are asking for your support on that. And one final thing before I talk about November being a special month, and then we're going to get Dr. Gorman on here. For those of you who like to talk, we are partnering with the University of Massachusetts on a special research project that they're doing, and they're looking at how older adults have been faring during the pandemic. And normally the research projects that we partner with UMass on, normally the subjects have to drive up to the college. So we don't have a lot of great participation from Westfield because it's kind of a hike, and you usually have to do a couple of in-person visits with them for the researchers to get their information from you. But because of the pandemic, they're doing everything either online or over the telephone. So if you are so inclined, and the interviews probably go about an hour, a little bit more than that. But you know what? We have a lot of people that would probably love to be on the phone for an hour chatting with somebody who's interested in how they've been doing during the pandemic. So if you are interested, the article is in the newsletter, in the Voice of Experience newsletter. But it's the person who's running the research is Dr. Bruna Martins-Klein, and she does a lot of work with the Amherst Council on Aging, and she's really terrific. So anyway, if you're interested, you can call her at UMass at 413-545-1023. And that number, again, is in the newsletter. There's also an email address if you're comfortable emailing her and letting her know you'd like to participate. So we're actually suggesting to some of our seniors that we have been on the phone with throughout the pandemic, and we just think they'd make great subjects. So please feel free, and I think it'll be a great opportunity for science, and it'll be something fun for you to do as well. All right, it is 7:11, so I need to, before we take our break and get Dr. Gorman in here, and I saved this purposely for Dr. Gorman because November is National Peanut Butter Lovers Month. And if ever there was somebody who absolutely loves peanut butter, it is my husband, Dr. Gary Gorman. So National Peanut Butter Lovers Month is an annual designation observed in November. Dr. Gorman is convinced that peanut butter is one of the most heavenly things on the planet. Peanut butter is so versatile, you can literally incorporate it into any and every meal of the day and not get sick of it. Well, maybe you would, but he wouldn't ever. For breakfast, smother it on some toast, waffles, or pancakes, or put a spoonful in your smoothie. For lunch, you can dip veggies like carrots and celery in it. If you're having a lazy dinner, slap together a quick peanut butter and banana sandwich for a sweet and salty meal that will keep you full for the night. But here's one that I bet Dr. Gorman has never tried, but I read about this. How about this? It's called the Loudon Pizza from Zorbaz, which is a small pizza chain scattered throughout Minnesota. This pizza is topped with pizza sauce, peanut butter, extra cheese, pepperoni, and jalapenos. Just let that sink in for a minute. Peanut butter lovers claim that the salty, sweet, spicy combo makes this pizza to die for. Try it out sometime if you're in Minnesota. For dessert, you can drizzle peanut butter over anything, literally anything. Apple slices, cookies, brownies, ice cream.
Or just have a Butterfinger.
You name it. Or just have a Butterfinger. There you go. Or a Reese's, which is Dr. Gorman would be all over that. All right. So happy National Peanut Butter Lovers Month. It is 7:13. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to bring Dr. Gary Gorman in with his theme song, Affirmation by Savage Garden.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:19. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is in the studio with me, and I'm hoping, Pete, that Dr. Gary Gorman is on the phone.
Yep.
Perfect.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Gorman. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I am just fine. I'm glad I'm calling in. I used to be able to say, well, it's nice to come to the studio and see you, but since I'm not at the studio and I'm home,
that's okay.
I'm good.
That's good. Well,
yeah,
good. Well,
good.
You know, we didn't see you for whatever reason, and I can't remember because a month ago seemed like about 6 years ago. So for whatever reason, we didn't have you on air last month. So, but back in September, you had started your 7 tips for a balanced life series again.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a couple of months, and a lot has happened in your life in the last 2 months. So before we get into your topic for the day, do you want to fill us in a little bit on how you've been occupying your time?
Oh, well, other than doing yard projects, you mean?
Yes.
Well, you know, it's been really kind of fun. I started, as the listeners know, hopefully, that I am no longer at Trinity Health of New England Medical Group in the Agawam office. And I am now practicing part-time in East Hampton called Strength for Life Health and Fitness in the Eastwork building in East Hampton. It's a really awesome facility. There's 4 chiropractors there. Between all of us, we cover the office 7 days a week. It's very much of a very low-key practice. It's located in the Eastworks building, where the motor vehicle registry is. Lots of people know where the DMV is located, and it has just been really, really nice. I guess I would consider myself semi-retired. I work a couple days a week, and just we have a really awesome, complete wellness center, gymnasium environment where we could take our patients over to show them certain exercises and strengthening programs. A lot of them engage in that on their own or go through certain programs. So it is really, really, really nice. I've been teaching Springfield College totally remotely. I decided in the summer that I didn't want to be on campus for the COVID health risks. And as it turns out, our goal was to go into November 20th, then send the students home for Thanksgiving and through the Christmas holidays and get them back at the end of January, but we didn't quite reach that goal. We sent the vast majority of students home this past weekend because the COVID cases were climbing and they were running out of space for quarantine and self-isolation, and the contact tracing was just getting more and more difficult, and so they sent the students home. So it's been good. It's been really, really enjoyable. I've liked it a lot. I've liked the slower pace and spending more time with my patients. A lot of them have found me. Some of them are trying to find me. So it's been really good, Tina. Yeah.
Yeah, and just so that the listeners know, Trinity discontinued all chiropractic services. So there were 3 chiropractors in this area, Gary, yourself, and Dr. Nicoretta, and
Dr. Delsey.
And Dr. Delsey. So all of those services were discontinued partway through the pandemic. I think primarily for financial reasons. So you are up at Strength for Life on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you're teaching on Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoon, but not until you've volunteered at the senior center, because you are a regular now on my volunteer list at the senior centers on Tuesdays and Thursdays, helping with our curbside lunch. And so I have to do a big fat shout out and a big fat thank you for helping out, because Pete knows, and the listeners know, I've been working on my annual report for the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, and it really kind of forced me to go back and look at the entire fiscal year, so that there was 3/4 of it or 2/3 of it was pre-COVID. But when I look back over where we were back in March, and you and Grace were volunteering every single day because we were desperate for pulling this lunch curbside program together. So but I think we've settled into a really nice rhythm right now with you, with between your assorted jobs, and of course you're not coaching right now because that's kind of that's kind of taken a back seat just with high school sports and so forth, because normally you coach track and field, both indoors and outdoors, but no indoor season this year from what I gather, right?
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much. There may be some. Again, who knows where the pandemic is heading? It seems to be on the rise again, but I think. If anything, there can be some meets at the Reggie Lewis Center in Boston. Again, that's to be determined. They have the size, and if they did it with physical distancing and things, but to pull off an indoor meet would be extremely difficult just for just being inside. Right. So, for all practical purposes, I don't know if we've gotten the official word yet, but I am not holding out any great hope that we will have an indoor season as a result, because even Smith College will not want us in there for our local indoor meets on Friday evenings, and it's just too small to have to separate all the athletes, and the parents wouldn't be there. It's just a difficult time for everybody. So. I'm keeping busy, which is nice.
Yes, lots of indoor and outdoor projects, and of course we're going to be sort of decorating your office this weekend, hopefully, as I work on framing pictures, which I promised to do, and I will do it. So that's the project for this weekend. Last weekend was trying to finish up on the annual report, and this weekend it's all about helping to get
and on a sidebar, which is really nice, the doctor that started the practice, Dr. Joseph Arnold, is well-read, well-written. He's written several books on nutrition, diet, lifestyle, etc. And we were chiropractic college classmates. We studied together. We spent a lot of time together from 1980 to 1983 when we met. So it's really nice to go back full circle and to see Joseph almost every day now as a colleague in his practice with him. And it's just I give a shout out to him, because when we were in COVID and when we were let go by Trinity, I was working out. I still continue to work out there on a very regular basis. And he said, "Why don't you just come practice here? Practice as much or as little as you want." And I said, "Well, I think that was one option that I weighed and gave some consideration to. I had another option, but I decided this was the right place to go for me for a host of reasons. And so it's been really, really wonderful to see him a lot.
And Gary, where did you, just give our listeners a little background, maybe some of our newer listeners don't know, but where did you and Dr. Arnold go to chiropractic school?
Oh, we went to Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, which is about 12 blocks off the Mississippi River. It is Davenport is part of what is referred to as the Quad Cities, and there are 4 cities, 2 on the western bank of the Mississippi and 2 on the eastern bank of the Mississippi, and that was where chiropractic was founded. So I remember seeing Joseph for the first time. He had a backpack on with one of his children, who was a newborn or an infant at that time. He actually grew up in Davenport, which was nice. And so that's where we went. It was a great experience to live out there. I got married when we were there, and the virtue of the Midwest people is really different. They're just very much family and community oriented, and it was just a good experience all the way around. Ironically, we were supposed to do the 125th anniversary of chiropractic this September 18th, which is the day of the first chiropractic adjustment, and there was supposed to be a big to-do in Davenport, Iowa, but it went all virtual as a result of the pandemic, so we'll have to wait around for the 150th, I guess, and make the big swing. So it's been all good. It's been really good. As one of our friends from James Madison said, I went from doing to to being, and I'm really trying to be more and do less, and spend more time being with my patients instead of cutting down the numbers and things like that, and just spending more quality time. So it's been really good. It's been a nice change for me.
Awesome. So you have, we'll just do a quick introduction, then take a break, and then really get into the topic.
Yeah.
So you created this list several years ago, Garrett. This is a personal list. It's Dr. Gary Gorman's 7 Tips for a Balanced Life. And I like to stress to people, this is not, something that you took out of a book or that you read or whatever. This is just kind of your own life experience, I guess, and just practicing for so many years, because you and Joseph graduated when from Palmer? It was back in the 80s.
1983.
Yeah, 1983. So you've been practicing for many years. And this is just, I think, your own personal, but also your observations of patients over that period of time. What does it seem to take to kind of pull it all together and have a life that's comfortable and and fulfilling? So when we started this, and you did the series, you ran this series several years ago when you first started on the radio with me, and we've been asked many times to have you do it again. So number one was proper exercise, and so back in September, I guess you had really covered that, and the importance of incorporating exercise in your life and different ways to do that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to a gym. There's a lot you can do at home. There's a lot you can do in your neighborhood. Go to a local park. So we kind of covered that. So number 2 on the list that I have in front of me.
And with the COVID, Tina, I want to interrupt for a second and put a plug into what Pete Coles has done. Is I think I did that program. Well, I did the program long before even when COVID was coming on, but now all the access to the videos that he has categorized and is on the website in Westfield, that's phenomenal. There's a whole series of exercises, the 3 that Grace and I did, and then the chair yoga and all the other moving classes and all that other kind of stuff. So that's important to.
Yeah, absolutely. People definitely have access to all of that. And as Pete and I were talking earlier in the show, Gary, we now have at least one fitness class every 7 days a week that are on Channel 15. So we added Saturdays in November with our yoga dance. And again, I think the other thing is that, most of these, the instructors have tried to make these classes so that it doesn't matter what level you are at. You can jazz them up if you need to take it up a notch. You can tone it down if you need to take it down a notch until you get more comfortable with it. So lots of opportunities. And so today we're going to talk about healthy diet and proper hydration. It is 7:31, so we're going to take a short break and then really get into this topic on healthy diet and proper hydration. The song that I'm singing, the song that I'm playing for my 7:30 song it's called "He's My Man" by the Supremes. This was after Diana Ross left, and the lead singer in this is Sherry Payne. It's her birthday today, but I thought this was such an appropriate song for me to be singing because my husband's on the show with me. He's my man. Here you go.
Thank you.
Feel the same old faces, seeing the same old way.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:37. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and Pete Coles is in the studio with me this morning, and we have our resident chiropractor, Dr. Gary Gorman, on the phone with us this morning. Welcome again, Gary.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful song. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
There you go. He's
That was
my
just
man.
great.
All right, so
Yeah.
we are on number 2 of your list for 7 tips for a balanced life, and this one has to do with healthy diet and proper hydration. So do tell.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's very interesting that let's talk about hydration first, Teen.
Okay.
If there's one question that I ask your seniors, other than how you doing today, is are you drinking enough water? I have found that by and large, the older adult population, not necessarily our generation and the generations that have come behind us, have a very difficult time gauging and engaging in water consumption. And we need to bear a couple things in mind. We are getting rid of water. We all know when we get rid of water when we pee and when we go to the bathroom, when we urinate. We are getting rid of that is the waste when our kidneys filter out our blood. So we get rid of the urine. That's water. We get rid of water every breath we take. So we're pretty much aware of the fact that with COVID-19 and wearing masks, the masks can't stop the virus, but the virus take a magic carpet ride on the water vapors that we breathe. So that's every time we take a breath out, or we get rid of a breath, we exhale, we get rid of water vapor. So in order to, we need to continually replenish that water and to keep our cells hydrated. Our bodies are made of 83% water. And we had this conversation yesterday. I think it's a good idea to either have a bottle, whether you use one bottle of water, fill it up each day, and making sure whether it's a quart bottle of water. You could pour it into glass if you want to drink during the day, for those that can't carry a quart bottle of water around. But it gives us all an opportunity to figure out how much we're consuming during the course of the day. So if you want to start off with that quart, then you could pour it into glasses, but you look at the bottle and go, oh my God, I have half a bottle left, and it's 6 o'clock at night. But it's important to hydrate ourselves throughout the course of the day, because dehydration can lead to dizziness, lightheadedness, headaches, and there's a host of issues that we want to that can develop as a result of dehydration. Mm-hmm. Even though it's going into the winter, we indoors, we have the heat on. If we're perspiring, if we're urinating, if we're having bowel movements, if we're breathing, we are getting rid of water. We have to replenish that water supply on a regular basis. And hydration is not coffee or soda or soft drinks or tea. It's pretty much water. You could supplement with that, but you want to make sure you get more water and less of the other fluids into your body.
And I think your point here, Gare, with whether it's a quart bottle or whatever, is that I think a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this myself, you think that you've been drinking water throughout the day. You know, you feel like you're hydrating, and the reality is you might have taken 2 or 3 sips, 2 hours ago. Well, that's not
Right.
really enough. But if you're not thirsty, if you don't feel thirsty, you feel like, oh, well, I'm sure I'm getting enough water because I'm not thirsty, so it must be fine. The reality is
Right.
that we really do have to pay attention to that. And the best
Yep.
way, you and I have talked about this, but the best way that we have found personally for ourselves and also for me in working with older adults is to have some kind of a, a water container that you can see through. So whether it's clear or whether it's tinted, but you can tell
Yep.
how much fluid is in there. That's the main thing, is for you to be able to see how much fluid is in that container. And we did talk, we were talking to Mary Lou Najowski, our program director, and Karen Noblet yesterday when we were doing lunches. Gary, you were there. And Mary Lou was saying the problem with the very large water bottles is that for some of our seniors, you fill them up with water and A, they're heavy, and B, they can't grip them. If you have arthritis or something like that, it's
Right.
harder to grip. So I think your point, Gary, is okay, so take a quart container, fill it with water, put it on the counter or in the refrigerator if you like it really cold. A lot of people don't. A lot of people just like room temperature. And
Yep.
then you can pour that into, a smaller water bottle or smaller
Yep.
glasses or whatever.
Yep.
The reason that I like some kind of either a water bottle or like a cup with a lid and a straw or something like that is that you can take it with you from room to room. You don't have to worry about spilling it. You can, if you go out in the car, you can take it with you. And then you can just keep refilling that. If it's something smaller, you can refill it out of the quart or the half-gallon container or whatever you're using. And that'll give you a better read on how hydrated you're
Yes.
actually staying, right? I think that's your point, is to
Yes.
know what your intake is.
Yes, exactly. As to your point, gee, I don't feel thirsty, and you look and your bottle hasn't been cracked yet, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. And so if you want to go, okay, I'm going to drink half of this before noon, I'm going to drink the other half in the afternoon, or whatever it is, but just something, a measuring device to give you a benchmark of how much you're consuming during the course of the day is
Gary,
really important. It's really
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, I want to go back to something that you said, and I just want you to clarify for us about this, because I think I do hear this from seniors. You said you need to drink water. Coffee doesn't count. Soft drinks don't count. Why don't they count, Gary? Because some people will say, but that's fluid. So if that's what the purpose is, but what is it about coffee or tea or soft drinks that is not necessarily what we want to be filling up on?
Well, that's fluid, and for one, you know what? As I remember listening to an old lecturer many years ago who said, "Would you wash your car with soft drink, or would you wash your car with coffee?" Because we need H2O. Now, if you really break down the ingredients of what is in coffee, yes, coffee is made up of water and coffee, but yet it's easier to utilize water. The body's utilizing it, and it doesn't have to filter as much. It doesn't have to work so hard. And the interesting about coffee, the caffeine tends to be a diuretic anyway.
Yes.
So
yeah.
It's going to cause you to urinate even more and have to hydrate more. Am I telling you not to have a cup of coffee in the morning? Absolutely not. I drink a cup of coffee in the morning. But that you can't count the coffee as part of your daily consumption. Now, your soft drinks or your juices, different story. High sugar content, high additive content. And so, again, if you start to drink a lot of these fruit juices, your body has to react to that quickly, and your insulin level has to change quickly. And what your body can't utilize as fuel, it's going to store as fat. And so, it breaks down all the sugars and all that stuff, and some of it is stored, which we don't necessarily really want. So that's really one of the reasons why. And if you want to drink, I've had patients who are older, and you're older adults, saying, I don't like the taste of it. Well, put a lemon in it, a lime in it. You could get some of the, mix it with some of the flavored waters. That just gives you a little bit of a better taste to it. Some people have tap water that doesn't taste so great versus the bottled water that you get from Poland Springs or whatever.
Okay.
So that's really why. And you want to dilute some of those juices down by mixing it half and half, because we don't need all the the fructose and the sucrose and all these broken down simple sugars that will change our blood sugar level, and it changes it causes our body to react more aggressively to that. There's a technical term for it, which I don't think is for this class, for this talk,
this
but it's
session.
called the glycemic index, and we don't need to talk about that. But anyway, yes, so you could have a little treat by having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, but that doesn't supplement the quantity of your water
Right,
intake.
so you don't want to substitute in, I don't, I
Right.
can drink less water because I had 3 cups of coffee. All
Right.
right, let's take a break. It is 7:47. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. I think this will be a good break to transition now to food. And we are going to listen to the song Peanut Butter, which is kind of a short song, but it's by the Marathons. And I think a lot of my seniors are actually going to recognize this tune.
There's a food going around that's a sticky, sticky goo. Peanut butter. Oh, well, it tastes real good, but it's so hard to chew. Peanut butter. All my friends tell me that they dig it the most. Peanut butter. Early in the morning when they spread it on toast. Peanut butter. I like peanut butter, creamy peanut butter, chunky peanut butter too. Come on now, take a lesson now. Peanut butter. Open up your jar now. Peanut butter. Spread it on your cracker now. Peanut butter. Scarf now. Peanut butter. I like peanut butter, creamy peanut butter, chunky peanut butter too. Well, I went to a dinner and what did they eat? Peanut butter. Oh, well, I took a big bite and it stuck to my teeth. Peanut butter.
Now everybody looks like they got the mumps.
Peanut butter. Eating peanut butter in a great big home. Peanut butter. I like peanut butter, creamy peanut butter, chalky peanut butter too. I like peanut butter, creamy peanut butter, chalky peanut butter too.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:50. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is in the studio with me behind the board over there. And our guest this morning is Dr. Gary Gorman, talking about his 7 tips for a balanced life. We are on tip number 2. We've talked about proper hydration. And now you're about to tell us, Dr. Gorman, about healthy diet.
Yes, healthy diets. This is a subject in and of itself. I mean, you have Jen Jaffune on talking about nutrition and dietitian work and everything else. So this could be hours and hours. But I think really the key is there's a term that my colleague uses called greens over grains. So it's if you could really start to increase the amount of vegetables or the numbers of vegetables that you eat in your daily diet, that would be great. Tina and I have to give credit to you and what you do with our family And I think this is a salient point that we need to bring up. Planning is critical. Human nature has it that we will take the path of least resistance. At the end of the day, you're tired. What am I going to have for dinner? Well, if you don't have something prepared or if you didn't have something planned, what are you going to do? You're going to go into the cupboard, you're going to open up a can of something, or if you're going to look in the freezer and see what's available to you, or you're going to, I think I'll just have a sandwich today, or I'll just have this. But I love what you do, and I think you take a huge salad on a Sunday, let's use Sunday for argument's sake, and that in the big stainless steel bowl, and it lasts us the whole week, and we put different toppings on it. One night, not peanut butter.
Not yet.
We'll put, you'll get a rotisserie chicken or turkey and cut that up. We'll put tuna fish on it. We put hard-boiled eggs on it. You could put seeds and nuts on top of that. But it literally would last us for the week. In order to come home and make a salad every night, that's more I feel that's more effort, but I think also what you used to do when we first got married is planning the budget not the budget. Well, you have to plan the budget, but you also have to plan the menu in advance. So, and you could prepare some of these meals in advance and think about how healthy they are, and if I can make them and freeze them, or I could refrigerate, or I can make a meal that's going to last me a couple evenings. To do it that way,
Well, yeah,
so
and I think
that's,
it's funny, Garrett, because I still do some of that planning in my head. I used to write everything down, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I do that and I incorporate that with, the salad. So we might have like grilled salmon, especially over the summer, we were doing a lot of outdoor grilling. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, we'll have that as a dinner with a vegetable and, a potato or corn or whatever. And then, I'll have this, we'll have the large salad so that, tomorrow night we can put the salmon, the leftover salmon, just flake it on top of the salad. So, those are the kinds of things I kind of think of in my head at the beginning of the week. It's like, how am I going to do this? Because you're right. The time to try to plan your meals is not, for me, is not at 7:30 when I walk in the door. I'm exhausted and we need to eat like right now because we're all starving. So that all had to be done in advance. You there? We lost him. Did we lose him? Uh-oh. We lost him.
The phone line's still there.
Oh, boy. Well, he was a little sketchy. I wonder if he was calling on his... All right. I'll text him and tell him to call back, Eric.
Phil for a couple minutes.
Well,
Phil.
I can do that. I just want to, Oh, okay, forget it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He's still showing us on hook and just stopped.
We lost you, Garrett,
responding.
so you'll have to call back. Hang up and call us back. But anyway, I think that let me just go through a couple of the points that I think Dr. Gorman was trying to make when he was on.
Okay, both my phones are resetting, so that's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They must have done a reboot.
One had to do with, he talked about greens over grains, and I think his point there was trying to stick with vegetables, fresh vegetables when at all possible. But, we've had Jen Jafune on, and she's talked about, especially off-season using frozen vegetables. That's perfectly acceptable. I think the main thing, one of the things Gary and I were talking about last night when we were preparing for the show today was just trying to stay away from foods that have a lot of additives to them. So, additives and preservatives and things like that. So the more, sort of pure that the food is, the better off you're probably going to be. And the only way to know that is to really become a label reader. And I know Jen Jafune has talked about this, Eliana Lakritz, when we've had Eliana on the show as a registered dietitian. They've all said the same thing. You have to be a label reader, and reading labels is time consuming. But the reality is that once you do it and you figure out, which brand of whatever it is you're going to purchase, because, that seems to be the healthiest, the lowest amount of salt that's added, the lowest amount of sugar that's added, and so forth. Once you do it, you do it. It's time consuming at the beginning. when you're trying to choose whatever item it is that you're choosing, whether it's, a loaf of bread or whether it's some canned good or, I think you need to be careful about just looking for the added sugars, especially because it doesn't usually say sugar. It'll say like high, corn syrup and fructose and things like that. There are lots of names for sugar. Same thing with salt, look for the sodium content. And I know that's one of the things that, Gary and I had talked about was just trying to stick with foods that are fairly pure. Most dietitians will tell you as much as you can, you want to stick to the perimeter of the supermarket because that tends to be where your freshest, think about it, what's on the perimeter of the supermarket? It's usually your fruits and vegetables, your meats and fish, your dairy, your eggs, those things are on the perimeter. And then the inside aisles are more of, your canned goods and your boxed goods and things like that. Not that that's terrible, but again, become a label reader and just really be careful of what you're putting in your body in terms of, extra additives, extra sugar that you don't necessarily want. Gary and I were joking around last night. If you look at, because it is National Peanut Butter Lovers Month, and he is a peanut butter fanatic, but not all peanut butters are created equal. If you go and read the label, look at what else is in there, and if there are ingredients that you don't particularly want, and not to make a plug for any particular area grocery store, but I know at the Big Y, I usually shop at the Big Y right over by Amelia Park, and they actually have their own, they grind their own peanut butter, and it's really just ground peanut butter. So there's not really anything added to that. There's not really anything extra. And if you go through the, on the regular peanut butter aisle, do the same thing. Just read the label and just make sure that you're not, grabbing something that has especially added sugar. They kind of sneak that sugar in all over the place. And same thing with fruits, even some of your canned fruits, they're sweet enough. You don't need the added sugar. And of course, if you're a diabetic, you need to really pay attention to that. So,
Gary will not be coming back because we're on a backup phone controller.
Okay.
Something happened.
That's okay. This is
we're almost done anyway.
Yep,
so.
We're almost done, and this is my time to do a little commercial for what's coming up because I do want to do that. Just talk a little bit about what's happening for the rest of the month on our Wake Up Wednesday program because I was just mentioning diabetes. We're talking about food, and we're talking about healthy diet and so forth. Next week is Veterans Day. Pete and I talked about that before. So we will not be doing a live show next week. We'll be doing a best of. Pete's going to be doing something for Veterans Day on Channel 15.
Yes.
And I will be doing Brown Bag because we are doing that between 9 and 10. So we decided it's going to be too much to try to do the radio show. So we'll do a best of show. The following week, though, in 2 weeks, we will have our second edition of our Diabetes Dialogue show with Jen Jafune as our guest. And so that will be, we started that last month. So that'll be the third Wednesday of the month. Jen will be here starting at 7:05. And the topic is generally something related to diabetes. She'll do a short sort of educational piece at the beginning of the show. And I think the topic this month is going to be how, as a diabetic, do you kind of eat, get yourself through the holidays without completely throwing your diabetes out of whack. So that'll be that. But people can certainly call in with questions. They can either call me at the Senior Center ahead of time or email me at the Senior Center ahead of time. And all of that is in the newsletter on what our phone number is and my email address. So if you have anything related to diabetes at all, it doesn't have to be holiday eating, but anything related to diabetes at all that you would either like to ask Jen, and maybe you don't feel comfortable calling in and asking on air, just give me a call ahead of time and I will make sure that we address it on air. Or if you have any comments that you'd like to make, maybe a success story, maybe a tip for our other diabetic listeners on how you've mastered something and something that's worked for you. So please, by all means, feel free to do that. So that will be on Wednesday, November 18th in 2 weeks. And then, of course, the last Wednesday of the month, we always have the health director, Joe Rouse. So that's what's coming up. I apologize that we lost Dr. Gorman at the very end there, but I thank you for listening. So he's gone now through 2 of his 7 tips for a balanced life. So we've talked a little bit about exercise, the importance of that, healthy diet, and proper hydration. And next month, stay tuned. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to tell you what number 3 is. Have a great week. I will see you in 2 weeks. But again, we've got Sarah the Fiddler this afternoon and every Wednesday for the month and Saturday. So check the schedule that's in the newsletter. Have a good one.